to your Season 2 recap of Outer Banks. After the thrilling ending of Outer Banks' first season, it was no surprise that Netflix renewed the show for a second. When we last saw the Pogues, John B. and Sarah were considered dead after the Phantom capsized, although little known to the others, they had actually survived. They ended up on a cargo ship that took them to Nassau, allowing them to go back and get the gold. John B. was also being framed for the killing of Peterkin by Ward. Rafe was the real killer, not John B. JJ, Pope, and Kiara have been grieving in their own ways. They soon find out that their friends are not dead. John B. and Sarah alert the Pogues to let them know they are alive, while also asking them to clear John B.'s name for the killing he's not responsible for. John B. decides to try and get a hold of the gold that's in Ward's basement, but this only results in Sarah getting kidnapped. John B. gives the captain of the cargo hold a gold nugget and talks him about the plan to steal the gold. When Ward's phone gets a security alert, the police show up at his house and apprehend John B. With Sarah distracting the cops, her and John B. are able to escape. The Pogues are trying to clear John B.'s name by finding, threatening, and wiretaping Gavin. Gavin blackmails Ward with Rafe's gun, and while the Pogues are listening, Ward tells Gavin to meet him. During this meeting, Ward kills Gavin over the money, and Rafe's gun falls into the sewer. Ward and Rafe dispose of Gavin's body. Rafe tries to find his gun. Sarah lets Wheezy know that she's alive, and Wheezy tells her about the gold transport details. When Kiara comes across Rafe's gun, she turns it into Shoop, who just leaves it on his desk. Sarah, John B., Cleo, and Terrence separate Ward and Rafe and ambush them. Sarah and John B. get the gold, but Sarah also realizes she got shot. John B. and Sarah head to the doctor, while Terrence and Cleo leave with the gold. Carla Limbry, who is the benefactor of Pope's scholarship, claims that they are able to clear John B.'s name, and she might be related to the Rex captain. She wants to meet up with Pope in person because of this. After Sarah almost dies, it turns out that Rafe was the one who shot her while trying to get John B. Ward sends the cops after the two of them, and John B. accidentally hits Cleo with his car, but she lets him know that the cops took the gold. Then, Cleo decides to distract the cops while John B. and Sarah escape on Ward's boat. John B. and Sarah stage a fake wedding for themselves on the boat and then meet up with the rest of the Pogues and head to the meeting point in Charleston. Carla's ancestors refuse to let Denmark buy his wife and daughter's freedom. Denmark died trying to get his wife's remains from the Limbry house after the Limbrys set the hounds on her for trying to escape, but Denmark's daughter ended up surviving. Limbry wanted the key from the wreck and is holding Pope hostage as a result. She also has a recording of Gavin's confession that Rafe killed Peterkin. The Pogues end up fleeing from her. After hearing that Rafe shot Sarah, Rose tells Ward to choose between Rafe and Sarah. Rafe and Barry show up to kill the Pogues, but they hide. The cops catch John B. and one officer beats him for the killing Peterkin. Pope shows his father a picture of the Denmark key. The key resembled a necklace that his grandmother used to wear. JJ tells John B. to act like his appendix will burst in prison so that he can be taken to the hospital and JJ can help him. JJ has managed to catch a glimpse of his father thanks to Plum's actions. Rafe steals his sister's phone and pretends to be Wheezy so Sarah can meet him. Sarah, because of this, goes in thinking she'll meet Wheezy, but instead meets Rafe and is almost drowned by him. Meanwhile, Pope ends up finding the Denmark key. And while Sarah is being drowned by Rafe, Topper saves Sarah and warns Rafe. JJ's plan fails until Kiara and Pope save JJ. Plum hands the inmate a key and John B. prepares to start the plan, not knowing that JJ's plan had failed. He gets attacked by an inmate that Ward had instructed to kill him, and after John B. overpowers him, he tells Shoop that someone tried to kill him. Shoop believes in the Pogue story and found Rafe's fingerprints on the gun. Ward wakes up to armed officers in his house. Ward is refusing to speak without his lawyer, and Rafe wakes up and is unaware that he's wanted for murder, and learns about it after reading a text. Carla and Renfield attack Pope's dad and insists Renfield gets the key. Pope's dad mentions that Pope has possibly linked it all to a necklace that belonged to Pope's great-grandmother. Pope visits his Meemaw and she tells Pope that Denmark and Cecilia are Pope's great-grandfolks. Carla surprises the Pogues and hands them the recording in exchange for the key. The key that they hand over is a fake. Rafe travels with Barry to flee the Outer Banks. Barry, however, leads Rafe to a trap and he gets arrested. John B. hands over the recording to shoot. Ward gets surrounded and confesses and then blows himself and the boat up. Sarah loses it and Topper goes over to comfort her. John B. is left stunned. A video recording of Ward shows that he confesses to murdering Peterkin. Rafe gets released from prison as a result. Seeing John B. looking relieved that Ward died, Sarah breaks up with him. She thought that John B. would be sympathetic since his dad died too. Carla is aware that she has the wrong key, so she tells Renfield that she will give him the resources needed to acquire it. Pope then receives Denmark's diary and learns that the cross of Santo Domingo was on the Royal Merchant. Rose and Rafe are in shambles as there is no record of the gold. Rafe then freaks out and punches a wall, and he finds something. The Pogues go to the bonfire, and JJ tells John B. to give Sarah some space. Topper and Sarah also attend this bonfire, causing jealousy to run amok. The Pogues are hanging out when Renfield appears, and Pope is forced to hand over the real key when Renfield has bow hunters come. Rafe becomes angry when Rose tells him that taking drugs won't do anything, and before Rafe can do anything further with the knife, Carla comes and wants to see the island room. Then Sarah returns home and finds something in the hole in the wall and laughs. With what Sarah just found, she goes to the Pogues and reveals that she found the island room. The Pogues learn from the diary that there's a holy garment that can heal people from sickness within the cross. This makes sense why Carla wants it, as she herself is ill. Denmark buried the treasure at the foot of the angel. The Pogues find Carla, who now works with Rafe, and her men find the casket buried beneath the angel oak. The casket is revealed to be the corpse of Denmark's wife, but the holy garment isn't there. The group finds a spyglass and figures out that the cross is at the altar. Both Kiara and JJ learn that JJ's father, Luke, is out of prison. Luke has already busted a pharmacy and forced JJ to help him get a boat. They manage to get him a boat, and after JJ gives him cash, Luke leaves for Yucatan. Once Kiara and JJ return, the group heads to the old church. They can't find the cross until Pope realizes that there are crosses within the structure of the church. Despite it crumbling, Pope climbs the church and finds the cross built within. After getting stung by wasps, he falls to the group, and the cross made of solid gold falls straight to Pope. Pope swerves and manages to miss the cross, but gets an allergic reaction to the wasp stings. The Pogues rush to get him treated, and they're unaware that Rafe and Renfield followed them. Once Pope recovers, he drives and crashes Kiara's parents' truck. They return and find that the cross is gone and was taken by Rafe and Renfield. Carla has the cross now, but upon opening it, the holy garment isn't there. Renfield mocks her, but before he could leave, Carla shoots him. Rafe takes her gun and drives off with the cross. Rafe tells Rose that he has the cross, but Rose seems more concerned about leaving Outer Banks. John B., Sarah, JJ, and Pope watch Rafe return home and assume correctly that he has the cross. Sarah then finds Renfield's body, and Rafe drags her and locks her in the wine cellar. While this is happening and in the wine cellar, Rose drugs Sarah. While Rafe drives, Pope jumps onto the back while John B. and JJ chase after Rose upon seeing Wheezy and the unconscious Sarah. Rafe feeds Renfield's body to the alligators, and Rafe and Pope end up fighting. Just as Pope was about to be shot by Rafe, he manages to hide. Thinking that the alligators will grab Pope, Rafe leaves and calls Kiara for help. John B. and JJ watch the cross get transported onto the coastal venture, and Kiara and Pope show up. They track John B. and JJ via phone location. In an attempt to get into the coastal venture, Pope shoots some gas bottles and causes an explosion and uses it to enter a container. Sarah learns that Ward is still alive. Ward reveals that he faked his death so the family can be together. He wore some scuba gear to escape the authorities. Sarah tells him that she is not interested in the family, and Ward lies by saying that he gave John B. the cross, but Sarah isn't convinced. The coastal venture sets off to a private island, and Cleo happens to be on the ship. Turns out that she was forced to flee and found work on the coastal venture. Sarah fakes being seasick and finds the cross that Ward lied about. She then steals a phone and attempts to report her kidnapping, but is caught by one of Ward's men. John B sets off the alarm while Cleo and Pope fight, unaware of who the other is. Then, pretending to be caught, Cleo and Pope attack Abrahimi and have him report to everyone on the boat for the forward hull. With the plan going in the works, Kiara and Pope lock the staff in the tween. Once the Pogues learn that Ward is still alive, he becomes violent towards Sarah. The Pogues get the cross and John B is still looking for Sarah, who is with her father. Sarah tells Ward that she's not going with him. He finally understands and decides to strangle Sarah to keep her quiet. John B fights him off and shoves him, causing him to hit the back of his head. Sarah doesn't mind if John B is going to shove him into the water, but he decides not to and jumps on the lifeboat with Sarah. Pope drops the cross into the ocean and Rafe tries to save it. JJ is injured and Kiara holds onto him while the remaining Pogues try to save them. The lifeboat stalls and Rafe aims to shoot, but is more focused on the gold once Ward's men manage to stop it from falling into the ocean. JJ regains consciousness and Ward gets treated. The Pogues reach land and Shoot makes a public statement about the missing teens. Carla receives a letter about the shroud and someone wants to help her find it, but on one condition. She needs to help his son. It turns out that person is John B's father. John B's father, the same character that has been presumed dead, is now alive. That kind of ending, you can only wonder what will happen next to the Pogues and what season 3 will bring for everyone involved. Have you watched Outer Banks? What season is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below and make sure that you subscribe to Young Entertainment Magazine.